Hello, everybody. My name is Moritz Bieling, and I'm doing the Neufund Weekly podcast for you here on YouTube. Now, this week's podcast is about the Neufund ICBM, the equivalent for us for ICOs in the general crypto space. And there are a few differences, as you'll see in just a second. But if you've been following us, of course, you've been knowing that we have been planning this for quite a while, and now it's finally the time. Finally, the dates are out. And they are the 17th of November until 17th of December, 11 a.m. UTC each day. So it'll be 30 days from 17th of November until 17th December. And so if you plan to commit your funds, this is the time, this is the date that you should mark in your calendar as red, put in 1,000 reminders, and to send your ETH over when the time comes. And when you do so, please make sure to visit commit.neufund.org and no other URL. This is the only URL that you need to know about for committing your funds. If you see other URLs, if you see advertisements, please always check against this URL to be made sure that you're not falling prey to any scams. So let's dive right in and take a look at what the ICBM looks like. First, we have the platform here. Of course, for those of you who don't know, Neufund is a community-owned fundraising platform. We have 6 highlights here that kind of summarize what we're all about, what makes us unique. And they are that we are reimagining ICOs. Everybody knows that ICOs are becoming very popular as a fundraising tool, specifically for blockchain projects. But everybody also knows that there are quite a few scammers, quite a few unsavory characters in the space that are taking advantage of this technology to portray it, to do their scams and to get away with it. So what we think is necessary and advantageous for people who don't want to be scammed is a platform and a set of processes that make sure that people are participating in legally sound, in technologically secure and economically cheap and effective methods of raising those funds. So that's what we're doing. We are reimagining ICOs. We're also connecting the off and on-chain world. So far, mostly crypto-specific projects have been using this technology. And what we're doing is we're making this technology available to companies beyond the crypto space. So of course, crypto startups, you're welcome with us. And we are actually very happy if you get in touch at startups@neufund.org to get you onto the platform. But we are also, and very importantly, open to people and projects and startups beyond the blockchain space. So if you have a biotech company, if you have a small or medium enterprise, if you have some form or other of a company that you think would benefit from raising funds from your family and friends or from the regular investors out there on the market, do come to us, do talk with us. We're happy to help you evaluate whether this is the right solution for you. And actually, if you're an investor and you want to invest in those companies, want to see them succeed, and you join the platform, you actually own the platform economically. So when you participate in our initial capital building mechanism, you gain economic ownership over this platform through this NOI token that we give out. How that all works, I'll show you in a second. And actually, when you do join us, you enjoy a somewhat risk-free commitment. Of course, nothing is ever 100% risk-free. But with us, when you invest, you actually only lock your funds on the platform, and you can take them out at any time or after 18 months fully if you don't find what you've been looking for or don't really like the platform or something like that, or just need the funds for something else. Of course, this can always happen. Also, when you do come to the platform and you receive the NOI, you earn from holding. So the value sources from that, we're going to take a look as well. And one of them is actually that growing portfolio of companies on the platform where we take some percentage of their tokens that you then own, percentage-wise, in proportion to the percentage of NOI that you hold from the total. So if you are interested in all of these things, please take a look at the light paper. We summarize our platform and our goals, etc., in there. It's a light read, and hence the name. And if you're really interested in the technical underpinnings and the legal surrounding the situation, all these different, a bit more tricky things, please take a look at the white paper. All of this will be linked in the description. And it is a 60-page read for those of you who have that time and interest. Let's continue on. Here's how it works. When you invest your Ethereum or Euro token into companies on the platform, you receive equity tokens once Neufund has transformed that company's equity into those tokens under a sound legal framework. So you have those equity tokens once that is successful, and you have all the key shareholder rights that you're used to from regular shares, from regular equity, along with the NOI, of course. Our mission here is actually to fivefold. We have several things we want to accomplish, and opening private equity to everyone is one of them. At the moment, mostly high net worth individuals, accredited investors, institutional investors, the VCs, all of these have somewhat of an advantage in this game because they have the knowledge, the access, the capital, the resources, all of these things that give them access to better deals. And what Neufund does is, of course, can't change that completely, but it does give you access to these deals as well by making them available online. We also make real-world equity, private equity, fully liquid by tokenizing it. So when you own those equity tokens, they are immediately transactable. You can send them to somebody else and be paid for that in return. And so the risk actually from having to wait for an exit event or liquidation event as an investor gets diminished quite a bit. So if you don't believe in the company anymore, you can send your tokens somewhere else, get some capital in return, and send it, actually make use of it elsewhere. We're also creating a decentralized capital pool for funding innovation. So people are pooling their resources on the platform. Of course, they're always deciding what to invest themselves, but just by virtue of all of the capital being available on the platform, you have a nice place where to go to look for your funding, and you don't have to necessarily do those long and timely and expensive roadshows anymore. We also plan to onboard off-chain companies into the economy, into the crypto economy. I've already alluded to this, but there's a lot of value already in the crypto space, still relatively minute compared to the overall private equity and public equity markets. But through Neufund, we believe that we can raise that value by introducing real world value companies into this space and just tokenizing them. We also plan to provide a fully legal and regulated setting for token investment and trading. So you do not have to worry about whether this is legal. There will be educational materials, there will be how-tos, there will be expert interviews, these kind of things to make sure that you understand what liabilities, what tax things you might be incurring, and to make sure that all of it is legally secure, legally sound, and regulated. When you join the platform, you actually, as an investor, own it in an economic sense. So Neufund is what's called a token economy. We have token dynamics, economic dynamics on the platform that are spurred on by these token incentives. So whoever invests on the platform becomes an economic owner on the platform by virtue of holding those NOI and being rewarded in that way for investing. And so they have an incentive actually to bring more NOI, more capital to the platform and be rewarded for that too. Here's kind of the visual layout of the visual division of the two value sources that the NOI has, where the token value comes from. On the one hand, we have the platform fee. So whenever a startup does their equity token offering on the platform, they pay a platform fee, a success fee in a sense, in cash, in whatever currency they accept, which then gets distributed to all the NOI holders proportionately. So when you own NOI, you receive revenue whenever a startup issues equity on our platform. So that should be a very attractive reason for why to hold NOI as an asset. And on the other side, you also participate economically in a platform pool, which is comprised of startup equity tokens that we also exact from every startup equity token offering that then goes to that pool. So when you hold your NOI, you have a share of that as well. So there's not only speculative value to NOI, but also two real world value sources. There are also higher rewards, of course, for early birds. We want to incentivize and reward people who risk their funds earlier. You want to see why you're not really risking your funds. So those who come first, the first 100 million euros committed, they receive 35% share of the overall tokens. And if you commit at a later date, for example, at 1.3 billion already issued, the next 100 million only receive 3%. So it's quite a precipitous decline. And so that's why you should make sure to come in early and to be rewarded disproportionately. And in that sense, really, initial capital building mechanism, this ICBM, is a new form of ICO that we're introducing to the space, and that we would actually like more companies, more protocols, more marketplaces to adopt instead of the regular ICO. Let's take a look at how it works. When you reserve your funds on the platform by sending your Ether, you actually just lock the funds in a smart contract and you maintain full control over your investment decisions. We do not touch those funds in the least. And so as a reward for doing so early, for incurring that risk, you become a co-owner of the platform and you get those NOI, which make you that co-owner. And still you maintain full control. There's very little risk because after 18 months, you can retrieve 100% of your funds if you don't invest on the platform. And you can immediately already trade your NOI once you receive them. There's no vesting scheme in the traditional sense. The only thing you have to be aware of is that if you retrieve your funds at any time, you incur a processing fee of 10% if you do that before 18 months. So be aware of that. But again, you're receiving NOI in addition to having your funds as well. Here's how the fund allocation looks like after the ICBM concludes. 100% of your funds go towards funding innovation as decided by you, and 0% of the funds go to Neufund. We only receive NOI tokens, 1-to-1 for every token that is created. So in a sense, we do benefit from the ICBM, but we do not receive any of your funds directly. After it concludes, you can, of course, use your funds that are locked on that platform for investments. And that's actually what the platform is for, what we want to encourage, what we intend to have happening all the time there. So you choose a project, you evaluate it, you decide whether you want to invest. Maybe you get in touch with the team, ask them questions, you peruse their marketing and legal documents. And once you've made your decision and you invest, you receive the company's equity tokens. And then, depending on whether you want to hold them, you believe in them or not, you can hold them or you can just sell them to other people through the secondary market that we plan to enable down the road. Or, of course, you can retrieve 100% of your committed funds after 18 months if you don't find this project, this one project, or the several projects that you want to invest in. Platform features on Neufund are these, and these are just some highlights. Of course, we all know regulation is very important, or the legal soundness is very important. And actually, we've seen how some of the projects are starting to have some difficulties with that. Tezos had some trouble. There are many those scams that have trouble, of course. And so what we've, from the very beginning, done is have a very large focus on the legality of what we're doing. And so when you invest on our platform, you invest fully legally. And we achieve that through a so-called nominee structure, where the nominee actually holds the equity, and then you have that token that gives you access rights to the equity. And so if you want to look at this in more detail, we invite you to take a look at the FAQ. And of course, all the links are in the description. But you can also get in touch at hello@neufund.org if you have more questions. Or of course, join our social media channels where we're also available around the clock. We use a stablecoin solution to make sure that the value on the platform, the denominations are relatively stable and don't fluctuate as much. Of course, you can hold Ethereum investment on the platform within Ethereum, but we also accept the euros. So for that, we use the euro token, which is pegged 1-to-1 for that value stability. We also have standard KYC. So whenever an investor wants to join the platform, we do perform standard know your customer and anti-money laundering procedures, like any other bank, like any other normal financial institution. This has to be the case for it to be legal, but actually you do not have to perform KYC when you participate in the ICBM itself. Only if you actually intend to invest then on the platform, you will have to do your KYC. We also provide on-chain governance tools. Here you can use, for example, voting procedures. You can be updated about the progress of the company, regular stuff that you're used to from any other equity form. And then, of course, we have proceeds distribution, one of the most attractive features, I would say, that automatically the platform distributes the proceeds from the equity token offerings from startups directly to you into your wallet on the platform. So just sitting there and doing nothing gives you revenue from those equity token offerings. And of course, if you want to increase your revenue from that, it is in your interest to bring more startups and more investors onto the platform and have more of them be successful. And then, of course, we secure all of this with enterprise-grade security. We have smart contracts that are being audited by multiple parties. And of course, regular platform features are also encrypted, etc. So we're doing our best to make sure that this is very secure, and we invite everybody, of course, also to look at our code on GitHub and to make sure that it all is secure. Here are some of our key milestones. Once the ICBM concludes in December, we plan to launch the platform fundamentals for you to be able to see your own account balances in the platform. And then at the end of the first quarter next year, we plan to launch the primary market platform and start the first equity token offerings, which we hope to complete the first batch of in spring 2018. And from then on, we plan to enable support for protocol tokens, add co-investing features, have alternative pricing mechanisms for the equity token offerings, make governance of companies more easy by integration with other projects like Aragon or 0x, have tokenized funds, maybe in collaboration with Melonport, we're talking with them as well, and other features like this down the road. Here's some of the technical data again. 17th November 2017, 11 a.m., 30 days of duration. The NOI symbol is NEU, and it is a standard ERC20 token. The maximum supply is 1.5 billion NOI, which is, of course, raised in exchange for 1.5 billion euros, but we do not, it's not one-to-one. So at the beginning, the ratio is much larger than at the end. And so the market demand on the NOI reward actually determines what our cap will be, but we do have a maximum cap here that is a bit more than 860 million euros, NOI, I would say. The first NOI reward for the first euro committed is 3.25 NOI, which of course then declines very quickly. That's why you also have a better deal when you come early. And there's no maximum ticket size, but you do have to invest at least 1 Ether for you to take place. Again, your committed funds can be released for 100% after 18 months or 90% anytime after the ICBM ends. And you will have to burn your NOI mark corresponding to the not invested funds if you do plan to retrieve your funds. The token distribution is such that you receive your NOI in the same moment that you commit your funds. And then the trading of those tokens is automatically enabled 1 day after ICBM ends. We're already talking with several exchanges. There's no vesting scheme, and you can review our code on GitHub at github.com/neufund/ICO-contracts. Our advisors are some of the most well-known and knowledgeable and experienced people in both the crypto and the investment sphere. So we have, for example, Fabian Vogelsteller from Ethereum, who is also the Mist developer. He recently spoke at DevCon 3 on identity contracts. We have Michael Jackson, yes, Michael Jackson, a partner at Mangrove Capital and the board director of blockchain.com. We're very fortunate to have him as well, and he actually did a nice video with us, which will come out soon. We have the Golem founder, Julian Savestovsky. We have Max Kordek from the Lisk Foundation. We have Christoph Mehr from Atlantic Labs, Alexander Lange from VC Early Bird, Adam Stradling actually too from Bitcoin.com. So he is one of the oldest dinosaurs in this space, so to speak. He's been around a long time. Pavel Bilica from Ethereum Core Development, and then also Minha Duong from Project A Ventures. So a pretty good lineup, I would say. And our team, of course, our wonderful team. We have Zoe Adamovich, our CEO and co-founder, together with Marcin Rudolph. Then we have Andre Eggert, our legal architect, Jacek Czarnecki, a lawyer, as our general counsel and business strategist. And our developers, Tomek, Mo, Christoph, and also Mustafa. And then we also have Piotr, or Panor, actually, how we call him, as our infrastructure architect, a very important role as well. Agnieszka is our business operations manager, the heart of the team, who makes sure that we all do our assigned parts as is necessary. And for that, we love her very much. And then we also, of course, have Marta and Nicola, who are our administrative team, who are making sure that the office runs smoothly, that we all get our flights, that we have hotels when we stay at conferences like at DevCon. We have Steffen, who is our blockchain regulatory reporter. And then, of course, myself as well as the blockchain reporter, doing things like this, presentations, speeches, and other communication and marketing activities. We also have a bounty program that is actually already announced, came out yesterday. If you intend to participate, please take a look at the links in the description. I will do another presentation on the bounty program itself in a very short while. And the biggest thing you should know about this already is that we have reserved 3% of NOI from our side, the ones that we receive, for you if you help us spread the word and help us get people to commit their funds on the platform. If you want to join us and chat with us, please, please, please come to Facebook and Twitter, talk to us there, share links with us, read our stuff on Medium. We've written a lot of blog posts. We also have a GitHub, of course, where you can look at our contracts, peruse them. We have some nice open source projects like our employee stock options on chain. We have the ICO monitor as well there. So take a look at that. If you want to chat with us on a very informal basis, we also have Telegram, where we are online all the time, answering questions, talking with you guys, and then Slack, of course, where the community comes together and talks about all these different things as well. If you want to learn more about Neufund and really understand what's going on, we have these resources for you, also all linked in the description. The white paper, the light paper, we have a roadmap document, we have the legal structure, we have a token holder agreement, a token reservation agreement, the smart contracts on GitHub, as I said, and an FAQ on the website as well. And then here are some of our projects, or actually all of our projects. We have ICO Transparency Monitor, which is at icomonitor.io. If you go there, you can find technically evaluated ICOs and see whether they are following the principles of trust is trust. And if you want to do your own employee stock option plan using Ethereum, you can find that at Options on Chain. Find out about our options on chain at neufund.org/ESOP, which is actually the first tokenized equity on Ethereum. We're very proud of that. You can also go to blockchainpolicy.org to find information about our blockchain policy initiative, which we've launched with quite a few players in the VC industry, in the crypto space, and the legal sphere. We are very happy to have all of these people behind us, working with us to advance the conversation, the discussion on the legality of tokens and the crypto economy, and to educate regulators about how to approach this. And last but not least, we also have the Smart Contract Watch, a tool set for you if you intend to actually do some technical stuff as well. Then you can use that to make sure you take a good look at what's happening with your smart contracts, be notified of events, quickly intervene, etc. And we, of course, also have been in the press. Links to that will also be in the description. TechCrunch, Geek Time, all of them are in there. Actually, the Harvard Law School is also a very interesting one. Take a look at that. And yeah, that's basically it. If you want to participate in the ICBM, please join us on 17th of November, 11 a.m. UTC, and sign up for our newsletter to be notified of events or announcements at commit.neufund.org. Peace out. My name is Moritz, and I'll see you in the next video.